Asian markets. Now, a blueprint for the division. This you have to mention in the scramble. It was created, okay, and it is said that no African leaders were invited to this Berlin conference, and effective occupation was recognized in this Berlin conference, where plan for scramble for Africa had been taken place. Whichever power established control first could claim the territory. And result was that over 40 new political units were carved without considering the ethnic, linguistic, and the cultural boundaries in Africa. Now, another thing which we will see here is artificial nature of the African state. First of all, the boundaries which were created by the Britishers or the French or the Italians or the Spanish people who were occupying the lands, they created the boundaries, artificial boundaries, which led to ethnic fragmentation. You can give an example that it often split the single ethnic groups across the states. जैसे कि Somalian people were divided among Somalia, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Kenya. You see, again I'll draw the map over here. This was the part. This is the Horn of Africa. And in Horn of Africa, you find Somalia, you find Djibouti, and you find Ethiopia, right? And these different ethnicities, they were forced onto one state. Apart from this, we also notice that there were economic distortions. The borders which were drawn, they were purposely made to serve the imperialistic economic interest of the European nations. They were not for the development of any trade patterns with Africa. For example, the Congo Free State, created as King Leopold's II personal fiefdom. Fiefdom is still the conception of feudalism. It was created, why? Because he wanted to have rubber exploitation over there. Now, we also see geographical arbitrary lines, and they had completely ignored the natural frontiers because definitely they wanted to serve their own interest, right? Example, you see, Libya, Chad, Niger. Okay. By orders, they were straight lines drawn by the colonial agreement, just like this. Apart from this, what happens to the consequence of these artificial states? Now, you are creating the state on the map, but people of this side of the line and that side of the line both are of same ethnicity. After a certain point of time, after decolonization, we will see that a lot of colonial conflicts will be happening. First of all, many civil wars happened after that. There were many secessionist movements. There were border disputes. All this is due to the colonial boundaries or the imperialist interest because of the arms race or the power these nations wanted. Now, Sudan and South Sudan, and this happened, basically the division happened in 2011. That's why maybe UPSC has asked this question in 2013. In 2013 only world history was included, and this went on till long time. There were lots of conflicts between North Sudan and the South Sudan. I think one's capital is Khartoum, one's capital is Juba, right? Both these nations were fighting, and they ultimately separated totally. After this, we have also seen Nigeria's war over ethnic imbalance. Rwanda genocide is one classic example, which was due to the manipulation of the colonial interest between the Hutu and Tutsi division. This is one of the shame to humanity. You can write that down in the essay paper also. Another thing which we notice over here is that weak nation building. Now, artificially the group is created, right? Merely by drawing the straight lines. We saw how in Libya, Chad, they did this. So what happens? There was no common identity to the people, right? In America, what happened? That although the people came from various places, but they developed that spirit of unity. That spirit of unity will be developed. We'll see in another class when we will be discussing unification of Italy and Germany. But what happens over here? There is lack of any shared identity among artificially grouped population, right? So it happened to be, definitely it had to weaken. Many states, they become failed states also. And what happened, we also see there was neo-colonial dependence because of the many states. These artificial states, they remained colonially, economically dependent on their former colonies due to the boundaries aligned with the export-oriented economies. Is it clear? Now, what happened? Because of all this, you can say that Organization of African Unity was formed in 1963, and later African Union was formed. Okay, and they chose to respect the colonial boundaries and avoid the chaos. So Tanzania, Botswana, all these managed relative stable nation building despite the artificial boundaries. And in today's time, this AU, if you study the current affairs, you must have seen that now African Union is a part, it is a recognized part of G20 countries. And when did it happen? It happened, we saw it in when there was this G20 summit in India. And what happened, that European competition, basically it is the European competition and not the African realities which determine the state boundaries. And because of this, we still see ethnical fragmentation, we still see political instability, and will also see economic dependency, which is completely rooted in the artificial colonial states created by the imperialist nations for their want and expansion of more power, or for their greed, or you can say for their wanting to sustain their power and prestige among all the European nations. These European nations, they wanted to become first rated powers in Europe. Now understand, I've already said that this will ultimately become one of the causes, this imperialism. In today's class what we are studying, this imperialism and colonialism, this will become as one of the major cause which will lead towards the following of World War I. In the next lecture, now since I have discussed all the three revolutions, I have discussed how they were sustained. Now I will also discuss that the people, they start developing the affinity for their national boundaries, right? Two major state formation or nation state formed, we will see tomorrow. One is Italy. There will be unification of whole Italy. Now understand, I've already discussed the cultural importance of history of Italy when I was discussing the Renaissance. The whole Renaissance movement started from Italy. Why? Because when Ottoman Turks, they had attacked the Baghdad region, what happened? All the scholars went to Italy, and Italy was the hub where all the merchants were staying. All the rural people were migrating to Italy. We had also discussed development of cathedral towns near Italy. So education, flocking of these intellectuals, coming up of cathedral towns, all this led to development of Italy as a cultural capital of those times. Now, Italy wanted to gain that past glory, right? And for that, it started its unification under three people. We will see Mazzini. UPSC in 2018 prelims has asked this question regarding Mazzini. Second one will see Garibaldi, and third one will see a diplomat, Count de Vere. These three people, they come together and they combine to form the state. Another one over here will be Germany, and you will see it is the role of Bismarck's policy of blood and iron. Blood and iron means by hook or by crook, right? The king gives him the authority that you try to bring along with Persia other states inside Germany. And with this, he has a diplomatic skills. He tries to bring further confederacies, and Germany is united. The 39 states come together and they form the Confederacy of Germany. Is it clear? Now these both the nations, Italy and Germany, they will be I think I should have taken that class before this class, but understand the context that these both nations will be fighting across the world along with the British and the French. Now two more superpowers are coming. They want to strengthen their first economic colonization control, and then they will move towards the imperialistic interest to gain maximum resources from the territory, which we saw in today's class how Italy was fighting over here with Ethiopia. Okay, thank you.